And there might be a little bit of a
This
delay.
meeting is being live streamed.
There we go.
We're doing it.
We're doing it. We're doing it. So just waiting for this to show me. Yay!
What?
Okay, and there we go. There we go. Okay, we're good. We're up.
Okay.
Here we are. Okay, let's.
Hello.
Hello, welcome everyone. Just gonna see if it's going to. Oh, it's private. Oh, Alexander, what's happening? Okay,
Oh,
so I'm gonna come out of this. Hold on, I'm gonna end the stream. Joanne. Why?
it does that sometimes, though.
Why did it do? Right. Okay. This is cool. This is cool. You wouldn't know that I've been doing this for like.
Did you leave? Why is it just a picture of some?
It's still sending its bit.
This is all going up. This is I'm not even gonna edit any of this off. This is. You do your thing. I'm waiting.
What's going on? It's live, isn't it? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Wait, we're live now?
Yeah, it's been live the whole time. And hello, everyone. I can't see you. I have no idea what's going on. My Zoom collapsed. It went down, and then it won't even let me. It won't even let me end. It won't even let me end the YouTube.
Oh wow. Well, here we are. This is what happens when you go live.
So hello everyone. I can't see your comments. I'm so sorry. I could probably do it on my phone. However, my beautiful family out there, you're gonna know that they're all gonna be absolutely like laughing their butts off because this is just me and technology.
My favorite part was I don't even know how it happened. It was like you were lost in between dimensions, and like it was like this picture of this screaming lady, and then all of a sudden like you came through and you were like, ah! And then like it left. Like that's recorded. It's on here somewhere.
This is the most bizarre thing. Anyway, it is showing live and there are people here, so
There
thank you
are.
so much.
See, because I'm
Yeah.
on your channel and I don't see the live up. It's okay. It's
Hold on,
technology.
right? Okay, so I can see people. Okay, so Emma, you're here. Laura's
Emma,
here. Emma's here. Laura's here. Kerry's here.
Kelly.
Right, can somebody just let me know that in the chat, please, that you can see us live right
Here we
now,
are.
and that you can see us and hear us, and we're gonna get into
Oh no, this is live.
this. Yeah, it's there, definitely live.
This is live. the whole thing.
So hello everyone and welcome. This is my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful brother Alexander, and thank goodness he's known me for a while, because I mean that could have been a little bit embarrassing. This is, for any of you who don't know, Alexander Mazzone, my brother over in Sedona, who I just love with all my heart, and it's an absolute honor to have you here. And we had a little chat. We were talking yesterday, and it was such an important conversation that we felt we wanted to share it with the world. But would you like to, now that we know that we're live and everybody's here, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. Alexander Mazzone, galactic shaman of sorts. Used to introduce myself as a Reiki master, but that was like many, many lifetimes ago. So I've been doing certain work to travel this multidimensional reality with my third eye turned on for almost 15 years now. Turned it on by accident, just drinking the right water, drinking well water, and not having fluoride going into my brain. My third eye just turned on. What a great mistake to have happen in life, which is how many of them all take place. A lot of our traumas, I believe, are sometimes not traumas. They're sometimes gifts. So this whole thing of going to the eye doctor and the skin doctor and all the issues that I thought I was going through were actually ascension symptoms of me waking up. So a lot of the ascension symptoms that are going on now is what we wanted to talk about. A lot of the multidimensional things that are taking place right now, and archetypal frequencies that are these extensions of our souls as we all blend all of this back together. This was the longest intro ever.
It was perfect.
Hi, everybody.
So you will find Brother Alexander over at www.galactictarot.com. I will pop a little link, or if somebody, one of my mods or something in there, could pop a little link in the chat, that would be awesome. I'll also pop it. And your YouTube channel can be found of the same name. So if anybody wants to pop his YouTube channel in the chat as well, so that if anybody is so called can go over and support our brother. I don't watch many people apart from my friends really that are on YouTube, and it's always, I just love particularly the skull work that you've been doing every month. It has been absolutely phenomenal. So, and his shorts, oh man, you need to check. Oh.
Can you see it? I gotta talk to have it come up, right? Been working at this since 2017 to get a aqua aura. This is a 24 karat gold bonded. It's crystal alchemy, plain and simple. When you get quartz, which is why electrical functionality even works, it's a piezoelectric device. Basically, when we press on a quartz, this is the whole science behind orgone, and like people have orgonite and all these things. Because when you press on a quartz, it amplifies and stabilizes electrical current. That's why it's written on watches and stuff. But this blue color, science can't explain why vapor deposition of, I'm nerding out for a second, of 24 karat gold yellow atoms of gold being bonded on a molecular scale to the quartz atoms turns the quartz blue with these rainbows. But what I love about this science is you're making what runs electricity and what makes it possible for electricity to even run correctly in the first place, quartz, you're making it one on a molecular scale. So it really is crystal alchemy to me. And this is why sometimes, by sometimes I mean when we do these channelings, I can get these multidimensional frequencies to come through these crystals. These crystals really are they're science, they're spiritual science. It's fascinating to me.
And I don't really listen to a lot of readings or anything either, but every time I tune into one, like even just this one this week, this one we're going to talk about, but I'm going there anyway. This one this week, I was like, pick number 3, and I'm like, don't really know if it resonates. 2 hours later, kaboom! In it steps, and knew exactly what was coming in, seen it, moved through it. Yeah, so good. You're so good. And your shorts are just beautiful as well.
Oh,
So we were having we're talking yesterday
Yeah,
about I'm gonna rewind a little bit, Alexander, if that's okay,
please.
because this has been like a process since I feel the equinox in March,
Hmm.
April. Um, just in case anybody's watching who maybe hasn't seen me talk about this before, or kind of how we got to where we are right at this moment. And this is just my perspective, take it or leave it. But I think before we step into what we want to talk about, I need to give a little bit of background. So personally, I went through this really big, I don't know, let's call it an upgrade. In April, I think it was the 3rd. I went to sleep. I slept a really long time. Couldn't be woken up, and then I woke up and everything just seemed very, very different. And as I was moving through that, it became very clear that I wasn't in the same space that I was prior to
Yes.
then. Um, and then we've had since then really big, the eclipse, and then the full moon came in, and the full moon for me was when um things got very loud. So again, I'm going to backtrack just for a little second. So when I woke up in 2017, everything was very loud for me. So it was dragons that came in and woke me up predominantly. Their voices were very loud. The I seen like a transparent, and then I could see them in my head. It was very loud. And it had to be that way, otherwise I wouldn't have noticed it, right? But as I went through the journey with them, and as I was, doing the work, etc., etc., it got quieter and quieter and quieter, and then they step away, and then you go through it on your own. And but I realized at that point why it had to be so loud, because I wouldn't have been aware or awake enough had it not been that loud. So it got
Wow.
really loud, and then things get quiet, because you learn to do these things by yourself, and you learn to walk that path. Not that you can't tune into things, and dragons are still there and all the rest. It was just different for me.
Hmm.
So I then became aware that the chakras weren't where they were supposed to be in certain people, and things that, by things I mean processes I put in place prior to being aware of this change around about April, March. They just weren't working anymore. I couldn't meditate the same. In my daily routine, which was like so strict to keep me in like my highest vibration, just wasn't doing what it was before. And I just became aware that I really had to step into the flow and let go of
Yeah.
everything to be able to find what worked in this space again. Um, and there are a lot of people, I'm seeing within groups and things, just saying, I just feel different, and my reality is different. I don't really know what's happening here. And I think this is where this conversation is really going to help so many people, because that's what this is about.
Yes.
So, how have you found things then from moving through this passage since March, April time?
Since March. So for me, I had to really get ready for September last year. So if I could actually go back to just like
Please,
late August
please.
1st, it was like one thing after another. Like spirit started to really be on my case with anything you ever knew, Alexander, that ever worked. We need you to do all that stuff and more. I couldn't make excuses on time to meditate. They wanted me feeding the birds, going in the cold water and doing the plunges. Like anything that was like an addictive tendency had to be out. I couldn't eat cheese anymore. I'm Italian, as some of you could probably tell. So giving up cheese was like, I don't even know, it was like giving up oxygen. So by the time the 921 came around, which is like, these are all parts of this, like, what I believe to be this like analemma, like these like very important times of, we look at 621 and 1221, but there's also 921 and 321, which you're referencing and I'm referencing now. And with the 921, I was like, it was just gross. Like it was like cold sweats, hot sweats, like giving up everything at the same time. And some of this stuff I didn't think was a problem at all. Like I never like considered I had a drinking problem when I was having like one beer with this one meal twice a week, 3 times a week max. Like it's not even like I was having those 3 beers in one day. Like it was like there was a beer and then there'd be 2 days off, 4 days off, and then another one. And it was just like it was like every single addiction that I couldn't even see was an addiction was leading to the other one. It's almost like this whole like Pavlov's dog thing where he rings the bell and then gives the treat and rings the bell and gives the treat, rings the bell and gives the treat. Then he rings the bell and he doesn't give the treat. And the dog's like sitting there with his mouth watering. So it was like each and everything was leading into the other. So to like quit smoking cigarettes and to quit like all these things that I thought were just like social, like, oh, I only do this every 2 weeks. Oh, I do this once a month. Oh, I only do this 3 times a week. Having spirit be like, no, none of this. And you know it's none of this. And we need you as clear as possible. And we need you in where you don't even know where you're going because you've never done all of this stuff at once. Like you knew like juicing Jacinto kale did this for you. And you knew like drinking this shake and having these supplements did this for you. And you know what meditation does for you. And you know what writing down your dreams and not making excuses does for you. Now we need you to do all of it at once because you're going through this keyhole that we need you to get ready to go through. And it was it was almost an aggressive process. Not that it was aggressive with anger. I mean, like I said, I had toxins coming out of my body. I was asked to do an entire getting rid of like this biome in my body. Basically what was told to me, and I know this subject can be very triggering for some. Spirit wanted me to use heat to kill certain things that were living in my body without being too gross. They wanted me to use heat and quitting all these things at once that were surviving off of these addictive tendencies made so much heat. It shut certain things down so I could then get them out of my body. Because what was told to me from spirit was if something's living in my body,
yeah, you can
it's
go.
going to the bathroom in my body. Just like, let's just be gross for just 1 second, and then we'll move past this because this was all part of the process. So I need to say how I got to here now.
Yeah.
It's like we knew how I got there, but now I'm saying how I got here. So I needed to get these things out of my body, and it was a journey. It was a journey, and it got me to the point of finding codependencies. It got me to the point of finding more and more addictions. It got me to the point of finding that like some of the addictions that I thought were healthy addictions were not healthy addictions, and really, really just claiming my power over myself and claiming my power over this reality and being able to stop pointing the finger outwards at what the problem was. I guess the best way to verbalize that I've been working with is saying, being able to find innocence and power in the blockage, in the darkness, in the shadow that I thought was the blockage, I thought was the trauma, I thought was the thing. If that thing is there to have me accelerate and be the catalyst for my ascension, then it never was a blockage.
Yeah.
Did I answer the question that you asked?
Yes. So you've been through a process of let's put the cleansing and the purification, let's just say, and it has without putting words in your mouth, I'm just kind of subphrasing, has brought you to a place to look at kind of where you've been codependent with things so that because I get this as well, so that we can start being fully responsible for our thoughts, our words, our actions, because they create our reality.
Yes.
So, yes, it did. Thank you very much. So, when we were having a conversation yesterday, and I'd asked you about like what what you see in the chakras, etc. You brought up like a very, very, very valid point. Um, and it's expansion. It's it's the expansion of the field. This
Mm.
so with regards to ascension and my belief system, and Alexander, my belief system changes, daily, because every day is a new day and every day is a new chance to be able to step into more learning and more truth, right? Within that moment. But it's a process for me. A lot of people believe, and that's okay. People can believe and be wherever they are, and who knows what's right and wrong, right? All I know is what feels right for me in this moment right now.
Yes.
Um, there,
Yeah.
there's say there's 8 billion people here on Earth. There's 8 billion versions of truth, right? They all have their own
Mm.
little universes. So I'm not saying anybody's right or wrong for where they are in their belief systems. But I personally believe that this ascension process, it's a process. It's this is why, the name of this channel is Ascension Evolution, because we're evolving through this ascension process.
Yes.
Um, when I kind of first woke up, when I heard about like the 3D, 5D thing, and there's a video on my channel about that if you want to go and anybody wants to go and have a look at it. It was almost like one day you're gonna go outside, there's gonna be a big flash, and then you're gonna be this highest, best version of yourself. The earth is gonna be wiped cleared, and you're getting to start again, and the whole of humanity is getting to start again, and the whole of earth is just gonna be, we're all gonna be shiny brand new. And
Yeah.
as much as that would be beautiful, that would be too easy for my soul. And I know, the people certainly within this channel, our soul's like a challenge. That's what we've come for. We don't grow through just being given the easy road. So um I'm not saying that's never going to happen. I don't, as I say, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's a process that we're going through. So I started to become aware of, well, if I'm ascending as this in this human physical body,
Mm.
my my energetic system has to be ascending too. And here we are. So a lot of people feel that they have, I believe we're in this new reality, we're in this different space. I certainly am. I can't talk for anybody else. Um, but you talk about being bigger. Would you like to explain that a little bit in your own words?
Absolutely. I would love to. I actually took I took some notes on that. It just says giants on my little board. I wanted if you see me going over here, it's because you're saying something I don't want to forget about. So thank you for actually like knowing to go back that way. Thank you. So upon my awakening, it was a relatively lonely process being on the East Coast of America in 2009. So I made my way through a lot of work, but I definitely found my way first to the angelic community. And I started working with the angels. I mean, I was having full blown out of body experiences, like Archangel Raphael, like family type vibe. But Archangel Gabriel, that's my boy slash gal. I don't even know what to call it because it says Gabriel, Gabrielle. It doesn't even matter. But Gabriel like literally pulled me on my body. So I'm going through all the names. I'm like seeing like by just reading a name, like who's my family, like who's archetypally sound and similar to me, which is just such interesting work for us all to do. Because like I hear people say they say oh, this name and that name, and then it's like you've got the people that are like really into Metatron, and then you've got the people that like know their Archangel Michael. But what I'm getting at is this. As I started going through the whole names, there were certain names on the list that I really had a high resonance with that were unknown names, or I'm sure they're known now, especially if anybody's into this angelic work. But one of the names was Raziel, one of the names was Raguel, and one of the names was Sandalphon. And when I found Sandalphon, I found nothing. when I found Sandalphon, I call him Sandalphon because like my third eye was like fully on at this point, like fully on with my eyes open. So anybody who doesn't know that part of my backstory, I can see this X the second I focus out. It's almost like I'm doing a magic eye all day, and wherever I look, I can see this X, and a lot of things are inside there. The tunnel, that's a conversation for another day. But when I call in Sandalphon, there's nobody there. So I was like, oh, I guess this isn't a person, or this isn't this isn't an archangel. And then I look over to my left. Now I'll never forget this. Even when I told you this story yesterday, Joanne, I had goosebumps again. I look over to my left and there's a giant foot, like going this way. So like if this is my profile, there's like a massive foot over there, and there's a massive foot over there. And I see like, oh, okay, he's huge. He's huge. So the way you'd know like precisely or accurately enough how tall this would be, picture when the moon is at its highest.
Mm-hmm.
That is where his third eye would be.
Whoa.
Or her, their third eye would be. Because there's definitely a more androgynous nature with the angelic community.
Yeah, I agree.
From what I see.
Yeah.
I mean, we got Michael looks like Michelle. We got Gabriel looks like Gabrielle. It doesn't matter. So anyways, I'm like, whoa, he's gigantic. So now let's flash forward all the way to yesterday. Okay. Actually, let's not go to yesterday. Let's go to just a couple months ago. I wish I had the other way to show this. Actually, is it okay if I go grab this?
Yeah, go. I'll see who's in the chat. Let me say hello. I'm still laughing at how this all started today. Oh, I love my life. Who's all here? Let me say hello to all you beautiful, beautiful people. So Carla and Jill, Yannicka. Yeah, I love technology too, Emma. Yeah. Laura says Joanne left through some portal again. Sorry, Alexander, please.
It's okay. No, please. I'm sorry I didn't have this. I had it on these skull beads that Spirit wanted people to actually be able to wear this. Okay, I'm gonna try to get this perfectly straight on the camera so you guys can screenshot it so you can have this.
Oh, you can feel that.
Feel
that.
Okay. And oddly enough, there's like a whole nother connection to our sister Carrie is like it is a whole thing. There's a whole thing with this shape. Like completely unrelated. She's working with. So this is called Sandalphon's cube. Okay. And what this is this is the mathematical formula to build one of these. Okay. So this is a D20 to anybody who plays these like nerdy games like Dungeons and Dragons, which aren't really games, but that's a conversation for another day. That movie, Dungeons and Dragons, there are codes. They whistle blow sometimes, and they like, let's seed the consciousness. Some of that stuff is very much so based on spiritual realities, but basically this is a way of building this. Okay. This is a way of building this. And
let me just interrupt you for a little second. You went like this with one of your beautiful creations, and you went, "Oh no, but I'm not like that." But you're gonna. Can we just see that beautiful creation with the skulls on it, please? You went. It was like, "Oh, I'm only letting you see a little bit," because for anybody who doesn't know, Alexander makes the most. Oh look at that.
So Spirit had me put, there's the Sandalphon's cube. There's the logo. This is the logo that came through for my 19th chakra. It's the black snake and the white snake.
Oh.
And this is Metatron's cube on here, right on the back of the skulls. This is like a special alloy that they had me make, which is called alchemical gold. And Joanne, look how thick the wire is now. Like, what even is that? Yeah, so that's like
is that?
this. Yeah, this is the most. And then they have these magnetic clasps. So like basically you can connect multiple jewelries to make a necklace out of it if you want. But this is what spirit wanted me working towards, was being able to put these sigils, which have been hidden from humanity. Now, everybody knows the Metatron's cube. Like Metatron's cube is all over these stickers. These are the building blocks. These are the geometric building blocks of reality. So like this is something else they had me make a while ago. This is basically a 3-dimensional Metatron's cube. The what's inside here is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 1, 2, 3, 4, like basically that 18 grid that then when you fill in the rest in the negative space. Spirit asked me how many jelly beans are in the jar. So this is a 3-dimensional Metatron's cube. Okay.
I've never seen anything like it. Never.
Spirit asked me, like, because you see like something like this or something like Metatron's cube, which like just like I'll just show this one more time just as an example. This shape, I mean, that everybody knows. Come on, focus. That shape.
Yeah.
That shape that everybody knows,
yeah,
that we've all seen 100 times, and like we have stickers on the back of our cars and stuff. Spirit said, why would we show you a 2-dimensional thing that is showing you 3-dimensional shapes if it wasn't supposed to be 3-dimensional? So they just basically had me get the Metatron's cube, fill in all the negative space, turn it horizontally, fill in the negative space, fill in the negative space, fill in the negative space, fill in the negative space. And that's what this is, okay? You know it's meant to be because this just happens to be 55 spheres. So like we get to this number. This is eventually going to go back to Sandalphon. But basically, Spirit wanted these sigils on people's bodies. So I find this on the internet. I find this on a patch, on a diagonal like this, and I go, what am I looking at? I screenshot it. I've been working with Thoth a lot. Thoth has me go like I'm a freaking Freemason and go and get a compass. He has me go get a compass and the triangular ruler and a protractor and all these things. And I made this to the best of my ability. This is not perfect. Like I can see where like there's a gap here. Like one of the circles is bigger than the other. I'm going to keep going at this and keep working at it to make it perfect. But this is what I could do, not being a computer and being a human being right now and not being Leonardo da Vinci. I'm being hard on myself. I shouldn't be. I'm going to keep working at this and see if I can perfect it more, is what I'm getting at. But basically, we have archangels, which are said to have 4 wings. And then we have seraphim. We have seraphim that are, which is so fascinating about this. Enoch, we hear about the keys of Enoch, all these like Enochian this and that. These are human beings that were said to ascend to the point of becoming a seraphim, which is a 6-wing angel, which is basically saying that humanity can and has in the past surpassed the role of Archangel, which is more of a 7th dimensional to 9th dimensional, if I may, standpoint. So when I saw Sandalphon and I saw nothing, and I was like, nobody's here. This spell, this address is better than a spell. This address must be off. And then I see these giant feet. I in turn find this, know that this is the mathematical formula to create this. Know that this is a 9th dimensional shape that when we can create this basically, boom, like this makes it so we can just not have to transmit something and send it to a different reality, but having the ability to do something, sometimes you never have to do it again. It's the best way to explain that. It's almost like, I hate to even relate it to this, but it's almost like the most magical gang color ever. So you can walk through the scariest neighborhood, and when you're wearing that color, they're like, oh, oof. Don't mess with that guy or gal. They're with that crew. They're with that crew. So when we have this knowledge of a certain sacred geometry or a certain magic, the multidimensional reality learns that we have that. And when it's like with just a glance, we can send something to a sometimes higher dimension, it'll make it so it's no longer there anymore. And to have the building blocks of to go from third density, to go from the physical to the tesseract, to go from the tesseract to the Merkaba, to go from the Merkaba to the octahedron, to go from the octahedron to the icosahedron. And I know that's so confusing. I'm trying to like quickly explain something that is a full dissertation.
Sure.
But basically, this is the short version of it is getting this three-sided triangle at the top. Okay, this is not an Illuminati symbol. I need to show you this. Getting the three-sided triangle and then adding a fourth side to it, and then getting the fourth side and then adding a fifth side to it is what this is. If you see that at the top, do you see that at the top?
Yep.
That's what this is, okay? That's what this is.
Yep.
So to get the smallest thing that can enclose space, 3 points of interest with one at the top, that's only 4 points of interest to make a pyramid, pyro middle, fire in the middle. This is the building blocks of these platonic solids. The first platonic solid is the tetrahedron, and then we go to the octahedron, which is basically 2 Giza pyramids connected, which is a more 7th dimensional, 8th dimensional archangel shape. And then we go to something like this, which is something that's been proven here now with this mathematical formula. A 5-sided pyramid with these, I call them teeth, these extra, boom, boom, these extra 5 going down. Spirit showed me that when I can go 3-sided, 4-sided, 5-sided, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, boom, which is literally your hand, okay, which is literally your hand. Because if you look inside here, you'll see the 1, 2, it's so hard to do this backward. You'll see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
So that's an inverted star. So we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right there. So basically, that's the digits where the digits are coming out and how we have this ability to boom. Because if something is lower dimensional, this is the longest explanation ever, but it needs to be. When something is lower dimensional, so if this is a 9th dimensional shape, what happens if we put a 9th dimensional shape and we put it around a 4th dimensional or 6th dimensional, something that seems to be a distortion? We're now sending it to the 9th density. When we send it to the 9th density, it's no longer there in this etheric, energetic, causal, astral field. Depending on which of the 7 realities we happen to be coming into this situation that we think is a blockage, which isn't a blockage, it's an aspect of the self. And
this is why my brother is a galactic shaman. All this magic that's happening in this one space.
So to finish strong, what I realized was by working with these shapes and by ascending to the point, within, we realized this together actually yesterday, by ascending to the point of getting to 9th density, the 9th dimension, but in the physical. The 3D is the ground. Like this whole thing came through with you and with me, with the whole tree. And like to just have this, once again, seeing with innocence, to be able to see with innocence that my roots going into the ground are in the underworld. And this is where 6th density and these lower dimensions, but higher numbers, this is where this stuff is. It's almost like this is where the water and the nutrients get to the roots So I can then send that up to ninth density, which we have the 6 and we have the 9 flipped upside down. These two very clearly connected. We have this down here and this up here, okay? And to be able to have this as above, so below functionality of going through the shadows, by going through these situations, so we now have some knowledge to send up our tree to turn to wisdom. And the wisdom is the fruit that the tree is then able to bear. The tree is us expanding and getting bigger throughout realities. And just to validate that with mathematics, if 1 and 2, the first and second dimension don't exist, and now to look at this through third to ninth, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's the number 7 again, the 7 chakra, the 7 colors, the 7 sounds of the 7 letters, the 7 planets, the 7 days of the week. There we go with this again. So we have this whole 7 and 9, because we have the 3, 6, 9 that Tesla was talking about. And then we have this 7 and 9. Okay, so this whole realization came through that our bodies have been expanding. Spirit keeps telling me we're getting bigger, we're getting bigger, we're getting bigger. And, you know, it's kind of like if everything gets bigger on the same day, like if somebody at home, if you just kind of dropped your consciousness into another version of it seems like your exact body, but you happen to be 122 feet tall right now, and you just dropped your consciousness into that, and everything else is per scale for you being 122 feet tall. How would you know the difference upon awakening from that dream, upon awakening into that reality? How would one know the difference if they did grow in size? And this is what Spirit was, whether this is divine paradox or not, this is what Spirit has had me sitting with. Of you're getting bigger, you're getting bigger, you're getting bigger. You're all getting bigger. And when your field gets bigger, your field's going lower under the ground. When you go lower under the ground, you start rummaging up things from the underworld to then turn into more fruit for more people, to turn your tree into an orchard, so to speak. And as this happened, I realized that as we were ascending to this 10th and 11th standpoint, because, and this is what I was just telling Carrie yesterday, our sister, if the new ghosts of this reality are fairies, and fairies are coming through with everybody right now, okay? So it's like if fourth density is where the ghosts were, and now like for me, like, because I used to see these ghosts, the ghosts are gone, but now I'm seeing fairies all the time. This would mean that we must be in at least 11th dimensional standpoint. We must have surpassed 9 to get to 11. And from an 11th dimensional standpoint, now the new 4D is basically 12 and 13. So where we used to see ghosts in third density, we are now seeing fairies. Everybody I'm talking to with all these sessions, I do session. I get like this person's like, I'm seeing fairies. I got grown men on the regular that have not watched my video and seen the thing about the skulls with the bunnies. Look at this. You know what? I'll just show you brand new ones. Brandy new ones. Let me see. Let me cover his number. Where does it say it? More bunnies, LOL. You see it? This is a grown man. This is an absolutely grown man here in from the East Coast. And he had no idea that I put this post up, but I'm seeing these connections to the guys, everybody. We're all awakening to this fairy type nature. So, I mean, even the fact of that miracle, I put the comment on the video, Joanne. I go and I turn on my TV to finally relax at the end of the day. And it's like, it says Disney, Pixar, Elementals movie. And I'm like, well, I just channeled the Elementals same day. And they're like, this comes out in a few hours. And I'm like, this is a miracle, like being able to see these miracles. Yeah. We're finally there. I'm finally there. Okay. So for us to have stepped into these seraphim bodies, these 6-winged bodies, a lot of people, let's talk about ascension symptoms. A lot of people had some pain here. A lot of people are still dealing with some pain here. These are ascension symptoms. These are not real pains. You had more wings come into your body because you stepped into a bigger vessel. You've now stepped into a seraphim form that can move in multiple directions simultaneously through the dimensions. If something has two wings, it's like a bird. It can fly up, it can fly this way, it can fly that way. So a two-winged angel, a Pleiadian, if you will, can fly to a place. An archangel or a seraphim can levitate like a helicopter. So these are these ascension advancements as we get through these 7 realities, if we will. But while you were talking, you were like, "Oh my God, this took so long to get here. I'm so sorry, everybody. I hope this is
It's
valid."
absolutely perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So as we got to this point of the diamond light. So the diamond light is the tetrahedron with a point, with a tetrahedron with the point. It's a 6-sided, it almost looks like a Vogel with only 6 sides and 3 and 3. So it's like if you get a tetrahedron, connect it to a tetrahedron, and then elongate it into a Nubian type shape, but 3 sides on each side. That is how some of us have been seeing what's called the diamond light, which has been expanding from our hearts. This was 9th dimensional light that started coming through in, I would say, 2016, 2017. And people started to begin to be able to see what's known as this angelic diamond light. So where our chakra were for many of us, now the chakra is way up there. It's way up there. Like the root chakra is way up there because we're actually in these energetic bodies, which are massive, but in the grand scheme of things are still small. Because what I believe one of the processes that we're working with here is having there be no room for anything else. And there's no, this is not an attack. This is not this whole because I sometimes I picture it like The Simpsons when like Bart and Lisa would be like, I'm going to be punching, and if you get in the way, it's your fault. This is not like that. This is us expanding to pull these things in that are us.
Yeah, they are.
To pull these things are to have them become one, so we can then have them become fruit for everybody else. That's like, brother, sister, how have you done it? So basically, somebody on the east coast of New York and somebody on the east coast of Ireland, our fields need to get so big that those Vesica Pisces, okay, that these two spheres have this happen, because we need to be encompassing this entire planet with light. Like that's must be to become a light being, then everybody here is coming with us. This whole 144,000 are the ones that ascend. No, we're all ascending together. And that's what I believe these Mandela effects are signs that we left, that we're traveling through this multidimensional reality. This is why you remember at home a different reality than everybody else. And this has been proven to be real. That's a conversation for another day, most likely. But as our field expanded and expanded and expanded, and our bodies expanded and expanded and expanded, but they seem the same size, there's still a lot of work to do, is what I'm getting at, until this entire planet is bathed in light. And the light that this planet is bathed in is our light. This is what I believe is the ascension process, is us continuing to expand. And the proof, if you will, it's like, what is the difference between a theory and a law? How did the theory of relativity become the law of relativity? The law of relativity became the law from theory when they found the mathematical formula, which kept proving this. No two countries have ever gotten into a fight and started a war over math. This just never happened. Their mathematicians will sit there and go, "Oh, yeah, they're right, sir.
They're right.
They're right. They're right. They're right, ma'am. They're right, sir. It's accurate." So this is what is the difference between theory and law. This is why we call it the law of attraction, because this has been proven time and time again by a mathematical formula of, hey, I think this thing and it happens. Okay. So that starts to outweigh 50-50. Okay. So Yes.
So
This is not a theory because it's already to me been proven when like somebody like Simon, like when I basically ask other people that I know that have their third eye on, be like, hey, look up. Are you seeing a big red disc up there? And when they say yes, theory for me becomes law.
right, yeah.
And it's like, regardless of what the belief structure is, and you were talking about this truth earlier, and I love that. I love what you said. And just to touch base on that really quickly, and then pass you the mic for a while. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. It took a while. I got there. Truth is truth. I actually had somebody get upset with me when I because I don't watch a lot of videos, but I did comment on somebody's video because they said, oh, so and so is wrong about this. They said so and so is wrong about this. And I made a very, to me, wise comment. And I said, how could you say somebody's wrong if that's their truth? Like, it doesn't matter if it's not your truth, even if their truth is not universal truth. If their truth is their truth and they're secure enough and proud enough to speak their truth into this reality, it's their truth. So it therefore has to be truth. It might not be universal truth. It might be not be the original creator of your soul's truth, but if it's their truth, it's truth. So you can't ever really even say this person's wrong. If it is their truth and you can see it in their eyes that they're speaking it with conviction. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And
Thank you. Yeah, that's I'm totally there. The interesting thing about, you're saying the Vesica Pisces. When I woke up, Alexandra, there, I seen like the flower of life, basically encompassing the whole of Earth, and I seen that there as you were speaking. So to put it in my kind of words and my terms is we're going through this expansion, and anybody who's been following me for any length of time, I said 2023 is expansion. That was what I was given. It's the year we expand. It's the year that we step into, if we choose to, whatever it is we wish to step into. And what has it been? Expansion. It's just expansion upon expansion. Very, very fast expansion. It's beautiful. But with this expansion comes a whole load of brand new responsibility. And the reason there's a whole load, we're eventually getting to why we actually want to have this conversation, is because we are now in each other's fields. So we talk about, or, spiritual community, whatever, talk about telepathy. Okay. How do we become telepathic? It's because our fields grow so much that we're all inside that field that we can pick up the receptors within that field of that energy. So what's happening is we are expanding. Now there may be, and I don't want to manifest this, but there may be people who have a belief system that we're going from 3D to 5D. And if this is the case, this conversation, I would ask that you maybe go back with an open heart to drop your expectations and your belief and maybe listen again, because I believe now that there's a lot of, I used to believe that, so that was my truth at one point, but it isn't my experience, and that's the difference. Okay, so my experience is I'm growing, and the conversation that we were having yesterday, Alexander, was I'm having these thoughts. So we're speaking about these thoughts that are coming, and they're loud thoughts. And I know so many people are experiencing this, and this is why this is so important. So in the run up to the solstice, I see it like examination time of what we've learned for this ascension process so far. And I kind of see like little beings with clipboards, right? And they're kind of assessing where we are. So a lot of people are getting a lot of tests just now, just like the end of year, school, college, whatever it is, you're getting tested for the year. What have you learned? Do you pass? This is where, and it doesn't matter, right? Because you're going to pass at some point, and it will be perfectly right for you whenever you are. So please never think, oh, I failed this, because you can't fail. You can't fail. There's no failing here. It's just you're not ready in that point. So more tests will present for when you are ready. Okay. So nobody fails, nobody's left behind. Please step out of that. So come the full moon, I started having these really loud negative thoughts because I'm at a place now where I like to believe that I'm aware of every thought in my head. So I can feel if a negative thought comes in. Now, it was very much like when I woke up, the loudness of that. And I now know that if I'm having this thought, because my field has expanded so much, that person feels that.
Yes.
In some shape or form. It could just be a fleeting thought in their head. It could be a dream. It could be just a feeling that they've got like, oh, something isn't right here. I now have to have these conversations with people
Same.
about my thought process, right?
Mm.
And at first, like I'll be honest, at first I was like, whoa, is this like where is this coming from? Like, is this an attack? Is this something outside of myself? Is it? And it never was, because there's a whole other conversation there to have, but we won't have that today. Um, and while we were talking yesterday, I realized that it has to be this loud because I have to take full responsibility.
Mm.
Because if I'm creating my reality, I've got on top of my words, for the most part. I get better and better every day. The thought process isn't always as I don't know whether maybe isn't, I'm going to use the word easy, but isn't always as easy because we aren't always aware of all the thoughts we have in our head, whereas we're more
Mm.
aware of the words that are coming out our mouth. So as we pass the initiations of, knowing the words that we're saying for the most part is creating our reality, we then have to become aware of our thoughts because it's no different. And I believe we're becoming these creator beings as we become bigger and bigger, as we're stepping up, we're becoming these creator beings. So we have to be tested on our thought process now. Because, and I told you this, Alexander, and I think Taylor and Kerry are in here. I was on video call to them yesterday, and I was boiling. I was going to make poached eggs, and I went into the fridge, and I went,
Oh,
and I went, oh, I don't know if Annie's in here actually, and I was like, oh no, there's no eggs. And then I said out loud, and you can vouch for me here, sisters. And then I went, no, I know what's going to happen. Annie's going to drop some fresh eggs off at my front door for me, and I'm going to step to the front door and I'm going to open the door, and there's going to be Annie's eggs at my front door. And you know what happened? I opened the door and there was Annie's eggs at my front door. And the three of us were like,
I love it.
did that just happen?
Love
So
it. Yes.
so we are, I completely believe we're creating our reality, but as we become these creator beings and as we get bigger and bigger and as our field becomes bigger and bigger, so does our responsibility.
Mm.
So we have to become aware of, we don't have to do anything, you can do whatever you want, but I choose to be
Yes.
aware of my thoughts. And if they are affecting somebody, I choose to take responsibility for that.
Mm.
So if something triggers me, even if it's just a thought process, I choose to pick up the phone and go, what happened just there triggered me. I'm going to have to talk about it because if I'm thinking about it, that could actually impact you
Yes.
in a negative way. And I don't have that intention. So let's just have the conversation, clear the air, and move on.
Yep.
That's transparency.
Absolutely.
But it's it and flow. And with the work that we do, it becomes easier as we do it. Because what can happen is maybe other people that aren't in the same place as us, that haven't been doing the same amount of work, they're maybe not going to react as well to having that conversation. And that's where I believe we have to be in our truth, our transparency, um, and in a place of compassion, not with like this is your fault or blaming anybody. Basically, just saying, you know, I'm gonna have to take responsibility here. I had this thought. You might feel it. Um, so if you felt something, I'm bringing up this conversation. You
Yep.
know, um, so I believe this is what's happening. This if you're having
Mhm.
thoughts that are loud and they feel like they're maybe not necessarily yours and they are judgy or they are like an old maybe what an old version of you would think about somebody. For the people watching this, because a lot of people I know have been talking about this in my Patreon things, um it's about, okay, well, can you take responsibility for that, and is there a conversation that
Mm.
can be had? um because how else do we learn, to speak our truth if we don't say what's in our head?
Yep. I agree 111%.
Yay.
Yeah, and
111.
my people have been saying the same thing. And I wish I didn't have to relate it to such a gross topic, but for me, as a guy, and I know that many of the women in the chat will be able to agree with this energetically. This is the equivalent of mama runs out to the store, guy watches porno while she's gone, mama comes back, she can't tell why she's disgusted with her beloved, and it's because, like, you know, she has these aspects of the self that, like, I'm craving that love, I deserve that love, why did that energy go this other direction? So now she's disgusted with him. So there's basically this non-verbal, multi-dimensional battle that begins. And then she's mad about something. She doesn't even know what she's mad about, but she does know what she's mad about because she's a freaking Oracle of Delphi. And then she's gets mad about something that's not even what she's mad about. And then, like, he's like, oh, you're acting crazy. I didn't do anything wrong. Yes, you did do something wrong. Yes, you did do something wrong. And that's why there are these connections that, like, and like I said, I wish there was another thing that, like, everybody's like, we've all been through this, that I could relate it to. But that's the equivalent of these on a, what you just said, on a more minor scale. I had this very similar thing happen with a brother that, like, I became really good friends with over the course of the past year. And I was talking to him in the gym, and I was like, basically said, and I like slipped, I said best friend. Because this will be different for the guys watching. Like, because the guys watching, we have this like programmed in voice of what's dishonorable and what's too feminine and like all these things. So I say to him, I go, yeah, why would my best friend do that? And I was like, instantly the voice, like
The
this
voice.
voice comes in that's not always there. And I agree with you, they became louder around the Sagittarius supermoon. And the voice is like, he doesn't consider you like, you haven't been friends long enough to say this. So like, he's right there engaged, and he's like, I agree with you, best friend. But like, I guess I instantly go, I start to like glitch out. I'm like, I gotta go do a set. And his eyes are like, no, you don't. Like, he's like, where are you going? Like, he's looking at me like what's happening? So I leave, and like, while I'm doing my set, I start laughing at myself hysterically. But Spirit's like, go and tell him. Like, go and tell him what just happened. And I go to him, I go, brother, this is too funny. I go, here's what just happened. Like, we're having to come clean now. We're having to come clean. If somebody says, oh, I let you borrow my pen, I need my pen back. And we go, oh no, I don't have it. We pat our pockets down, and we get home, we have the pen. We have to bring the pen back. And we have to text the person and say, I have your pen. I did have your pen. You were right. Like, we can't let these things go. At least I can't. As you were saying, I can't, because I know that these are the tests. If the field keeps getting bigger, you know, it's like the equivalent of, just because I got my driver's license doesn't mean that they're going to let me go drive an 18-wheeler. I would need to go get a license for a bigger vehicle. I would need to go get a license for a helicopter, a license to fly an airplane. Yeah. If I had a license to fly a small jet, I'd have to get a different license to fly the big jet. and so on and so forth. So as I traverse this multidimensional reality, and this is one of the main reasons. Thank you for bringing this back up, Joanne. This is one of the main reasons, because you, without even like really like us having this conversation, you were going through the same thing. When I heard you say how you had to start stuff with this friend over something because you were feeling something, for me, I need to do that stuff. I am not your real friend if I do not speak my truth to you. Because if I do not speak my truth to you, I now am pretending to be somebody I'm not, to appease somebody, and I'm not even me. Like, that's not me. For me to be the best version of myself for you, I need to be in my truth. So I have to say, like, hey, I'm a little sad at you. I'm a little mad. You said this. Can you give me a couple of reasons? Like I'm dealing with this thing right now in my chest because you said this thing. I know that you know this isn't true. Can you just tell me, can we pause for a second right here? And can you give me 2 reasons why this thing is not the case? Because I know you don't really think that about me. And if that person can't do that for you and with you, they're not your friend anyway. Like, just being real. Make room for a real friend. So,
and this is about becoming the conscious human that I've been talking about. Like I'm choosing.
yes.
I'm being tested at being very human recently. We won't go. I was laughing when you said driver's license. We'll not go there. But I'm being tested on the whole bringing in this consciousness into this human, because this is what this process is about. It isn't about just ascending the spiritual. If we would have came here, what's the point?
Yeah.
We're bringing this consciousness into the human. And what we also do is when we approach people from that space of truth and from the heart, not blaming them, not saying, oh, you did this to me, this is terrible, just going, I feel this is the reason for that, is that let's talk about it.
Yes.
In the moment they might like shut down and go, oh, but I guarantee you, energetically there's an impact there. And even if they don't feel it in that moment, even if they like don't know what to do with it, there will be part of them that sits with that, and it's like these little seeds that we can light up in people, because a lot of us have been taught to not be ourselves, to put these different faces on for people, to be mum, brother, son, wife, not be different versions of who we are. And this is about being all, this is about the Ascension is about being all the versions, and not, oh, this version is terrible, and this. If you feel something was a little bit off, just take responsibility for it. Just go, do you know what? That was a pretty shitty thing I did there. Like, I'm really sorry. I didn't intentionally do that. And I think the more we do these things, or certainly the more I do these things, the easier it gets. And although it might shorten your circle a little bit, what will happen is the circle of people that you can have that conversation with will also be these conscious humans. So
Yes.
These are the people that you can create your reality with. These are the people that you want to create with, because they're going to tell you the truth.
Goosebumps.
Yeah, me too. They're going to tell you the truth. They're going to be honest. They're going to be in their integrity, all these things that we've been working to do. So what if we're doing this thing to kind of wheedle out the souls that are perhaps ready for this level of conscious humaning, so that we can bring together the ones that are ready for this conscious humaning, so that we can create everything that we've been dreaming of. Because I believe this is what we're stepping into after the solstice. The gear doesn't just shift, Alexander, right? This is like, this is the baton, and it's ours now, and we create. Yes,
I have one too.
Yes. And
Somebody lit mine on fire though.
And we create from this space, and we want to be able to create with people who are conscious enough for that creation, that are in control of their words, that are in control of their thoughts, so that that creation is pure and not, there's not a little jealous element that's then going to stop that creation going forward, right? This is where we are, and it's beautiful. And I couldn't be more grateful for every single second that I've gone through right up to this point.
Yeah.
It all, you know, it all.
Yeah.
It's a really exciting time, right? It's just,
It's so
oh,
exciting. It's so exciting. And it's like, this whole like attracts like. If we don't make room, if we don't allow these people, because they're the ones that are choosing to leave the circle. As you were saying, the circle gets smaller. But like, let's just give it the example of like, if let me hold up my dragons for a second. If we are not, if we blame this other person, like, oh, I can't be myself around you. I feel like you don't belong in my reality because I can't be myself around you. And we blame them, when in actuality, when we just are ourselves and we feel comfortable enough to do that, this person leaves the circle. If this person leaves the circle, eventually they're just going to be surrounded by the other like of versions of themselves that are not being in their truth. If we're still there in the field with these people and being that vibration, that representation of truth, we might be actually avoiding their growth. We might be actually supporting them not growing. Whereas if they look at their reality and they go, what the heck has happened? I'm just surrounded by, everyone's lying. And like, where is my brother or sister that like always told me the truth, was always accurate? Now they'll ask those questions. And by just asking those questions, they're going to have to shift. And then this friend that left the circle will most likely in the future be like, hey, can I come back in the circle? Maybe not feel comfortable enough to say it, but they'll just be like, hey, look at this. You're here, I'm here. We're both, our eyes are both glowing again. It'll be this magical thing, is what we can co-create and manifest going through this multidimensional reality, hoping that truth is important, because we obviously know truth is important.
yeah.
And we obviously know, like, so many of us have so many traumas which we've been transmutating over the course of, especially since this March 15th, these big galactic pieces moving overhead of Pluto and Saturn. What completed from 2020 to 2022, we don't have to even say that out loud, but 2023 with the Saturn shift and what came with that. And what was coming up during that Ides of March 15th window was this betrayal, was us not being able to speak our truth. For me, because you brought up that window, and I would just like to bring it up again for what was coming up with me, it was a lot of like what I was stepping into, which was my boundaries on truth, me speaking my truth. And I just had to keep getting better. And I'm not even saying I have this mastered. I still am getting better and better at being able to say, hey, I called you this in my head. Yeah. This dark aspect of me laughed when I called you a butthole or whatever. And like, even though like it might create a fight with this person, like we can't have that thing existing and then being like, I'm mad at Alexander, but I don't know why I'm mad at Alexander. And then we look at them and go, oh, you must be crazy. You must be crazy. I didn't do anything wrong. Yes, you did. Like, we have to, at least I have to, because like what you were saying, for me as an empath, for me to wake up in this reality where just last week, I wake up with pain in my neck. It's not my pain. I wake up and I go, this isn't mine. And they're like, no, it's not yours. And then I go to the gym and then I see the brother, this powerful wizard whose pain it is. So I teach him how to get rid of it, the stretches, how to do it, how to roll it. I teach him all the stuff. And the pain leaves instantaneously once I tell him the stuff. But like, this is the equivalent of like, you used to be able to wake up in your house and your field, like maybe was touching the next person's house. Our field, so those of us that have been doing this work, yeah, there are like hundreds of houses now and hundreds of people in our field.
Yeah.
No, we
if
can't.
not hundreds of miles. Yeah.
It's like the Liar Liar movie. I can't lie. Like we can't lie because everyone's like, that feels weird. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So part of lying is not being ourselves around certain people.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been navigating with this window, which I think is going to be shifting even more after 621.
Yeah, yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's a big and I feel the energies like when I woke up this morning, I'm like, whoa, the solstice energies are here.
So good. No.
I can really feel that you know, if we want to call it a gateway, whatever word you want to put on it, you know, beginning to open for us to, you know, ascend even more and expand even more and step into even larger versions of ourselves.
Yeah. And then and to do that, that's why these voices are coming up, because these voices are the old voices, they're the old versions, they're the old fractals of the ego, and they're leaving. They're leaving, plain and simple.
Yeah, they
And
are.
that's why so many people were so challenged by, what was it, last Monday, this whole Sagittarius supermoon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very, very challenging for many.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there was this calmness with it, which
I agree.
everybody that was like, they were like, Alexander, I'm at the end of my rope. And I'm like, but no, you're not. Look how calm you are. Like, I was like, let's just for a second, let's step out and see like how like kind of ridiculous. Like, no, has anyone ever given up from such a calm place? I don't think so.
There is no end to the rope, right?
Exactly. but for some people it'd be like, I just choose, I don't think I should be here anymore. I think I'm going to leave here. And I'm just like, but no one's ever really done that in such a calm manner. Let's be real. Like, that's a really frantic, chaotic thing, I'm sure. And I trust them. I trust you all at home. I love you all. And we've so got this. Just stay in the raft and know that the boat might be getting bigger and bigger. And some of the people that jump on the raft might be the least expected people in your families and circle of friends to wake up. Like you might have thought like, oh, it's definitely, I think my sister will wake up first, and then it's your brother. So just that's what I'm noticing, at least.
And in this reality, it's everywhere. Like I cannot get away from spirituality, whether it's names of shops that have just sprung up from anywhere, or conversations I'm having at the school gates, or and I think that's a lot to do with the more, you know, the more and more I step into my truth, and the more, you know, unashamed of who I am. And as the field expands, what's within that field, the resonance also has to be there, right?
Yeah.
So the resonance also has to be there. So we've been on here for a while. Alexander, thank you so much.
This was such a joy. Thank you.
You're welcome back anytime.
Yep.
I do manifest, if you choose to come back, that it will flow in grace, and I just leave you hanging. Will just leave you hanging on my channel, you know.
Yeah, or I can just hang out here all day with you guys.
I'm just gonna awesome. Surprise! No, this isn't Joanne.
Yeah, and make sure you give back Taylor Moon to America. We don't.
No, we're gonna keep her, Taylor.
No, don't keep her. I see her in the chat. I'm just
you know, there's something about. So I said we were going to go, and there's another 10,000 words to go. I have this with this dragon calling retreat coming, and there's, you know, this is people that we've all been working together for the past 8-9 months, and there's something about that coming together. The expansion of what's happening there, and just to meet like our Taylor in person. Yeah, she can stay with both mom and dad. Okay, I don't know whether I'm dad and Kerry's mom. I'm not quite sure who she's calling who there, but
Kerry, you better be painting.
Yeah, well, it better be finished. Is it finished, Kerry? Have you finished your painting?
That's why she's not commenting. She's covered in paint.
Thank you for being here. I would really like to just quickly show your site, but let me just be fully transparent. this is going to work with flow and grace. Look what I can do. Look what I can do that is just so easy to do for me. I'm going to show you, right? I'm going to show you this talent that I have for just flowing. It's going to be here. So it's not there. I think I came out of it.
It's Galactic Tarot wherever you can find Galactic Tarot.
Patreon, YouTube.
Patreon, the YouTube.
Tinternet. It's all there.
Yeah. And then this website's getting completely rebuilt. Give it some time. This will be up if you're looking for these things. That's crystalcurrent.com.
Is that yours, or is that going to be like?
No, this is what everything's been gearing up to be able to make this alloy, which is a golden alloy. This is obviously not solid gold. This would be like a $40,000 bracelet. This is an alloy that is actually a copper that I've worked to make this copper, which is so high vibratory that has the magnets and the gemstones. Like there's the aqua aura, like the skull. So this is all magnetically activated with the sigils. It's a whole situation. Yes, this will be on the site. There's going to be a lot of crazy things on the site.
So now I get why my field has expanded so much to have that much energy to be able to place that on my wrist.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's what I tell people when I'm working out. I tell them I work out so I can carry more gemstones with me.
That will be my working out.
Thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much. So because of things that have happened here, I'm just going to press a few buttons, just speak amongst yourselves. Okay, okay, super. So let me just go into here. Everyone, please, if you pop the, I think Taylor put Alexander's
she did
details.
She's in the live. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to end this here.
Yes.
Alexander, I might just absolutely cut out and go away. So thank you so much for being here. Love you. And thanks everybody else for being here.
Thank you, Joanne. This was so much fun. I love going live with you.
Okay.